6, 11, 8, 6, 11, 8, and this is working so fine. Now we have to add a validity here. So I got a current, okay. So now we have the adjacent keys available. And if I'm clicking on something, if I'm clicking on some place, I know that these are the adjacent keys. If whatever I'm clicking, the index is in the adjacent keys, then it's a valid one, else it is not. So this makes it easier now. So I already got the adjacent tiles updated. Now the valid move for me will be only just passing. Not even current tiles needed, I believe. Just give the current tiles right, and I will. And the adjacent tiles also will be better if you just pass that. Right? So now what we have to do is that whenever someone is clicking on the adjacent tiles, that adjacent tile should be available. Uh, so I should ask for else it is not available. So if someone says that is this a valid move, I'll say pass the adjacent tiles and the current click, and then we will know whether it is adjacent to right, and is valid. So we'll say valid move for adjacent tile and whatever is the current click index. Here it will be valid. So now let's see. So if I click on 12, I should get is valid as false, is valid move false. If I click on 8, I should get is valid as true. Okay, it's not working. Is valid move should be true. Adjustment elements. Current conflict and those the so valid move checking with the current conflict and adjustment elements. Okay. Yes. Valid move checking for 1 for this index. Okay, so it's post facto it is happening. So ideally, we should not even allow such updates, right? So currently it is happening post facto. So we have 0, 2, 11, 5 done. Now this is always going to. So this was my adjacent list, right? And hmm, let's make some more changes. So I got adjacent tiles, I got the current tile, and when I check the adjacent tile and the current tiles, that's where the problem is. So if I'll just click this and 17414, so if there is a valid code for 17414 and you pass current index 0, you'll get false. Pass 1, you will get 7. Okay. So there is one catch which is creating this problem. So my adjacent tile calculation is happening with the new tiles. His valid move is also getting checked for the new tiles. Ideally, I should look for the old tiles. Okay, and all my so this seems to be working fine by changing that. So whenever you see, if you click on any random this valid move as false. Okay, so this is little messier which I've uh, managed to make it. Let's so what is happening right now is that I can see the adjacent tiles for the current empty index. Current empty index is still, and these are the adjacent tile to it, which is 1, 11, 3, and 6. 1, 11, 3, and 6. Now when I click on any tile, it checks whether it is valid or not. It's not a valid move since it is very far away from it. And now I get the new adjacent tiles. These are the new adjacent tiles, which is 5 and 14. If I click on 5, ideally it should be mentioned as a valid move, which is not showing up, right? So we'll just clear few things from the logs. This is all good. Function is good. There is no problem in the function. Now the problem is mainly here. So what is happening is that I got the new tiles. I'm looking for the adjacent tiles against the current tile which is clicked. So what happens is that there is adjacent tile calculation normally happens every time, right? So if I click on this, the adjacent tile calculation would happen on the new tile which I'm clicking. And then it is trying to compare that new click ID with the old adjacent tiles, which is never going to match. So to handle this, what I can do is I'll just make it a little cleaner for us to understand it. I'll make two different where bindings. One is the old adjacent tile. Old adjacent tile means that I will say, give me the old adjacent tile it, with respect to the current empty index, which is the empty index, and then give me the new adjacent tiles for the new tile which is clicked. Now, when I'm looking for the adjacent tiles, I want to see whether the old adjacent tile, okay, is matching with the whatever tile is getting clicked. And I will update the new adjacent tiles here so that we can see what are the new set of adjacent tiles. And let's try to reload this and see if this gives me the correct information. So current empty index is 7, 4, 8, 11. 4, 8, 11 are the nearest neighbor. If I click on 4, I get a valid move as 4, which is correct. If I see 6 and 0, this is not updated correctly. We'll handle it. Seems like the swapping happened, but the adjacent tile calculation is again uh, happening on the old data. So we can quickly fix it like this. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I click here, this is also a valid move because it was adjacent to an empty. So you have 13, 6, and 8. 13, 6, and 8 are the valid neighbors. If I click on 2, which is not a valid neighbor, I should get a false. And I got a false now. Okay. Current empty index is 0. Valid is 13 and 5. 13 and 5, which is index number 1 and 4. Index 1, index 4. If I click on any one of them, I click on 5, I should get a valid move. So valid move is always going to return the value which is the label of that index. And if it is valid, then we will get the response. Now I got 5, 9, and 10. 5, 9, and 10 as a valid response. If I click on anything except these three numbers, I will get a false there. So I'll click on 8 or I'll click on 3. I got a false here, right? Now, if I click on 15, since 15 is here, I should get 15 in the response and it will be a valid move. So 15 is a valid move. Got it? Now this is a little easier for us to manage now. So what we can do is I'll just swap these things. So what we need here is that if it is valid, then only do the calculation for the new tiles, right? If it is a valid move, then only we need to do all these things. Else none of these is required. So what I'm thinking is that when is valid, then you have to calculate this. Okay. And similarly, I think we should say the new DB is also going to update. So if is valid, then we should update the new DB, else we return the old DB. Okay. And for the old DB, we should put the tiles as the new tiles. Empty tile index with this, and we will just have index with the index. All these need to be updated when it is a valid one, else it should not be even updated. And here we will say it is the new value, which should be required as part of this change. Okay. Now, what will happen with this change is that it will not even allow me to, yeah. So if it is invalid move, the swap will not happen. If it is valid move, the swap will happen. Right? So you will notice whatever clicks I'm doing, none of them are impacting the swaps if they are not valid one. I've clicked on this, nothing happened, and this was a valid one, the swap happened. We can, so that is one part covered. We can clear certain nodes and tabs. We are, okay, that's fine. I believe we okay. So I think this is mostly done now. We can just play around. We can move the items. Now we only have to work towards validating the solution, which is item should be in a specific order, um, right? Okay. Yeah. So this is. I think I'm just going to play this game again. This is nearly complete. Now we only have to add one more subscription event, which is to compare the solution, and that should be good enough for us to mark this as a closed feature. Okay. Now, when the solution is complete, how we will get to know. So first thing, before even we get to know, we should have some way for us to identify how or what is a solved puzzle look like, right? So we should define that somewhere. Uh, I would I would prefer that solved puzzle is also provided as something which we can track. So there's solve that will be false to start with, and we create couple of what is the solve tile. So we'll just have a solve tiles created. And just pass the tiles. This function is going to basically provide the solve tiles for a given input. So we know the tiles, what is being passed here, and we know that the solution of the tile is having all the items arranged in the sequence, which means it is this function only, no difference, right? So this is what the solution would look like. Mostly mapped in this. Okay, so instead of range shuffle, we will take the tiles as the input. Now this is going to provide me the solve tiles, but there is one thing which is missing right now, because if you will look at the solve tiles right now, you will, okay, so you are already going to get a pair of this thing. So this is not what we want. What we really need is that we already have the tiles which are available in this form of 0 and 2. And wait, I think we don't even need this input, because if I do a range 16 and run this, this is how the solution would look like mostly, right? With only one change, where right now it is one-to-one mapping between the index and the label. And now I'm saying that for index 1, the label should be +1. It should always be more than 1, right? So the solution will be this. Wait, there is something which is broken. This one. Right. So salt tiles, where I'm saying that, yeah, so 0th index, it will be 1. And then index number 15th, it will be 16, which is not a valid. For 15th, it should be 0, because the new or the last tile should have value as 0. So that is a simple thing which we can do, that maybe I can, so we say assoc, um, this will be the input. Okay. As a assoc, and index number 15 should be replaced with 0. So 15th will be 0. So this is what the solution would look like. So the solve tiles is also there. It is also marked. Now we only have to look for a solution that says that now solution should always be checked whenever you are publishing this event. So we can have one more wedge fx, okay. And we say is sorry, this function is going to check when, so whatever is the current state of tiles, we just have to compare them with the solve tiles, which means should I pass the solve tiles to it or not, is an open question, but that's something you can decide. The idea is very simple, that in your DB you have the soil tiles available, you have the current tiles available. So you just have to while you are requiring soil tiles available, soil tiles availability, and then tiles from the tiles available. Now, if is soil, they are considered solved when the soil times is equal to current times. So if both of them are equal, then it is solved. And if it is solved, then we should upgrade then we should update the DB, which is by associating the DB that is solved question mark with is solved by the so if it is not question mark, it's solved. So whatever is going to happen there, that will be reflected as part of that change. And this is it, I believe. Now, how we can confirm whether the only way to find out is mm, there is yeah, so there is an easy way to do it. Um, I will just show you whether it is going to work or not by adding a simple hack in the data. But before doing that, I would want to consume this also language. So this and if I'm subscribing to an event, I will also create a subscription for it, which is this right? That's all. Now, this reference before even we have to dispatch that event. So dispatch the event is very similar to the for events slash. So in this case, since it is in the same workspace, I will say it is solved. And there is no data need to be passed. You just have to pass the new DB and it will take care of and to confirm whether it is really working or not, we can just add JS console check the consoles. So yeah. Now, whenever there is any move happening on your board, you should notice that checking the puzzle is solved okay. So for every move, there is this check which will happen, and we will notice that. So now, for us to see whether the solution is really complete or not, or for this, what I will do is I will add a couple of simple things. One of them is I know what is a solid tile looks like, right? I can just bring the solid tile and use this solid tile as I will use this as an input. So in the tiles, when it is creating this what I would do is I would comment this else block and I will add my own tiles with only two moves maybe. So 15 will contain 14, and 14 will contain 0. I'll just reload it. Yeah, wait. I wasn't more confident in doing it. So what I actually want to do is 14 is 15 and 15 is okay. So 14 should be 0 and 15 should be 15. Right. So now, is this solved? No. If I move here, is this solved? No. If I move it here, is this solved? No. So I'm just making certain moves to confirm that it is still not solved. And then this, if clicked, it will be solved. Yes. Finally, it is working. Now some beautifications can be added, which can make your game look a little prettier. As I mentioned, I'm not very good with the CSS, so that's something which we can do it later. But mostly the intention was to build something from scratch. We were able to do it. Thank you for watching.